This is the Play Your Position podcast, where we huddle up, call the plays, and inspire you to run your ball into the end zone. Are you ready to score more game-winning touchdowns in your life, business, and career? Then listen up, because it's game time, baby. Now, here's your host, Mary Lou Kaiser.
Hello, Team PYP. Mary Lou Kaiser here. Welcome to another episode of the Play Your Position podcast. It is February. Happy birthday, PYP. 7 years old today. Wow. It is exciting for me. It's a new month. I am excited about that because that means a new theme. Last month, the theme around survival skills for 21st century success was gratitude. And if you didn't catch any of those episodes, I encourage you to go back and listen to them. There's some really good stuff there. I've been getting some great feedback from listeners, so thank you for that. Because I love alliteration, this month I am going to be looking at 2 survival skills for 21st century success. I will be exploring friendship and forgiveness for February. So there's some wonderful alliteration for you. I have a story about friendship I will share in a minute. But first, a couple of housekeeping things. First, because it is Play Your Position's birthday month, I wanted to share some fun stats about the show with you all. 7 years into this podcasting journey, I get asked questions a lot about PYP, and so here are some fun facts that might enlighten you if you didn't know. First of all, 7 years old as of this month here in 2021, which I'm super excited about and proud of. I'm really proud of the show I've built here. We are at episode number 353, so 353 episodes into this journey and still going strong. I have done over 200 episodes with incredible people, as you well know, because you've been listening. And some of you listening are part of that lineup of incredible guests. So yay for you. PYP, based on my download stats, is now considered in the top 25% of all podcasts, which thrills me to no end. Not that that was my goal, but to know that I'm in the top 25% of all podcasts is pretty darn cool and bragging rights. So I'm doing a little bit of whoop whoop for PYP. You know that the content here is fun, it's friendly, it's valuable, it drops every week. And finally, PYP has been downloaded in more than 82 countries. So I have a cool international listening audience, and that is exciting to me. So happy birthday, PYP. We love you and looking forward to year 8. That is the year we are entering right now. Also, I wanted to remind you that registration is open for the 2 spring cohorts I'm running starting in early March of Elevate Your Expertise Thought Leadership Success Program for women. There is a link on the show notes page. You can also go to my sister site, which is maryloukaiser.com, and click the nav bar for the Elevate Your Expertise program. Then you can learn more about it. I want to give a shout out to some of my program ambassadors who also happen to be PYP MVPs. Wayne Herring, you are a rock star connector, and I so appreciate you. Also, Christine Miller, super connector, amazing, amazing person. You are at the top of my list, and also a rock star. Laura Noel, Nigel Bennett, big time gratitude to you both for supporting me and my mission to teach leadership skills on a broader scale. Elevate Your Expertise is an awesome program, guys. It is the right program for the right woman who is ready to step up and do something bigger than she already is doing, finding her compass again after walking away from something that's really been big in her life. It's great stuff. I'm excited for who shows up. Okay, enough of the promos. Let's get to today's story about friendship. My first best friend was a girl named Kim Schaus, who lived a few houses up the street from me. I grew up on a hill, and one of my earliest memories of all is of me and Kim walking up to her house from mine with our arms around each other. We would have been about 7, so first grade or so. And because we lived so close together, it was natural for us to become friends. Kim's mom liked to watch soap operas and make us grilled cheese sandwiches. She was a single mom, and for some reason, I also remember she was always ironing something whenever I went to Kim's house for a play date. She'd have the ironing board set up in the living room, and the soap operas were on the television. I'm pretty sure she had a black and white TV, which wasn't unusual for the 70s. You know, color TVs were more expensive, and not everybody had a color TV. I think color TVs became the norm towards the end of the 70s and into the 80s. But yeah, that's one of, I can visualize being in that living room and seeing Kim's mom ironing. I don't even remember what she was ironing. Tea towels, shirts, pillowcases, whatever. And her grilled cheese sandwiches were to die for. I don't know what it was about having grilled cheese sandwiches at my friends' houses. My mom made me grilled cheese sandwiches, which I loved, but when I was at my friends' houses, those grilled cheese sandwiches tasted so much better for some reason. Anyway, Kim had long brown hair, and she was chubby like me. We were chubby girls, and she was also funny as fuck. I am telling you, we laughed so much all the time. That's what I remember, too, about my friendship with Kim, is we were always telling jokes, making each other laugh. And we were what I call friends by proximity because we lived so close to one another. A friend by proximity is someone we get to know because we move in the same geographic area. Work friends are often friends of proximity because we see them every day. You know, when we were working outside the home back in a day that seems so distant now, we have those people that are in our sphere day after day after day. So it's natural. You're going to form friendships. Once we leave a job or organization, the people we saw every day are no longer the people we see every day. And so many of those friendships are naturally going to fade with time. Some of them sustain. I have a group of work friends from my days teaching college, and we were getting together every year for an ornament exchange during the holidays. That has dwindled. We didn't do that, obviously, in 2020 because of social distancing, and people have different levels of comfort going out and meeting up with folks outside their social bubble, and I get that. But we stay in touch as much as we can, occasional posts on Facebook, but the day-to-day is gone, and that happens. That happens to just about everybody. Now, an interesting fun fact about me and Kim: all throughout school, from first grade through senior year in high school, we were never in the same class. Not once. You would think that by high school, because you're in like 7 or 8 classes a day, that we would have been in at least one class together. And we were not. It was the weirdest thing. Every year in elementary school, I remember this, every year we hoped and prayed that the next year would be the year we would be together. But it never happened. By the time we hit middle school, we had both moved into different circles of friends. She had moved across town to a new house and so was no longer my neighbor. And we remained friendly over the years until graduation. But that special bond we had from about ages 7 through 10 lost some of its strength. And certainly after I left my hometown for the West Coast to go to college, I lost track of Kim. We didn't have social media back then. I got home once a year, maybe. And, she had moved on. You just didn't see people or have the same connection that we do now because of technology. And it wasn't until 2016 when some of the girls from my Girl Scout troop planned a reunion to honor my mom, who was our Girl Scout troop leader. And that's when I saw Kim again. It was wild seeing her after so many years. I will tell you, we immediately started reminiscing about those days when she lived up the street from me. She was still funny and full of energy. She had trimmed down and looked healthy and happy. And we talked a bit at the reunion. We recalled some of those days of being at each other's houses the way kids do, and, playing with my mouse house, playing dress up, being butt heads to our brothers. We both had younger brothers. So it was great. Childhood friendships, I have come to appreciate, shape us in lots of ways. They are often our first experiences with what I call the intimacy of friendship, where you become, you learn about trust, you learn about being vulnerable with somebody, you learn about boundaries. And I've wondered from time to time if my friendship with Kim would have lasted longer in terms of being best friends had we been in some classes together, especially during elementary school. Like I was saying earlier, Facebook makes it so easy to find people from our past. The funny thing is, Kim is not on Facebook. Every now and then I will see a post from a mutual classmate who mentions her, but I don't have a sense of what she's doing, where she's living. And I'm embarrassed to say, but I don't remember if she, when we were talking at the reunion, if she was married and had kids. So it's just one of those things. Yeah, it's just one of those things. I recently had a conversation with my mastermind group about connecting with people again who were once friends at a different time in our lives. And we all agreed that in some cases, reconnecting can be a good thing. And in other cases, it's not. The immediacy of Facebook and also the intimacy it generates, and in some ways the false intimacy that it generates, can be too much in certain circumstances with people we were once close to, but have long since moved on from. I don't know about you, but there are people that I knew growing up who haven't really done much with their lives. They're still in the same town. They are doing the same things. And that was one of the conversations I had in the mastermind group. One of the people in my cohort was talking about men that he knew who were still drinking in the bar every night like they did back in high school. And, he's in his late 40s now. And we each have to make that decision for ourselves. But when it comes to friendship, especially during a pandemic, when we are in a current era of lockdown, we are restricted in terms of social gatherings in certain parts of the country. Certainly people are choosing to meet up, I know, and do what they do. But friendships are more important than ever. And some people are seeking out friends from middle school, elementary school, high school that perhaps a year ago they wouldn't have looked for because our lives were different. We need people. We need people who like us for who we are, who accept us for who we are, who are consistent and genuine and willing to give and take, right? That's what friendship really is. It can't be one-sided. And I'm going to do an episode later this month about one-sided friendships because it is a thing and it can really play with your head and interfere with your ability to lead your life the way you need to. But again, that'll be in a forthcoming episode. Without friends, we can suffer all kinds of negative emotions, spin down dark holes. If you Google the rate of depression because of the pandemic, a lot of people are living alone. A lot of people are feeling that loss of proximity to friends. I know I have. I have certainly missed being able to go out and meet up with my friends. We need friendship. It is an absolute survival skill for 21st century success because our friends help keep us going. And they remind us to be humble. They keep us in our place. They tell us the truth. I mean, there's so many amazing, amazing things to having friends. And they become more important, I think, the older that we get. Now, the New York Times recently ran a story by a writer named Catherine Cusimano about making friends during a pandemic. So I wanted to share some of the tips that she writes about, and I'll put a link to the article on the show notes page if you want to read the whole thing. And she leads off the article related to reconnecting with with people. And she said, the first question you can ask yourself is there someone you want to reconnect with? Look through your phone to see who you were texting this time last year or 5 years ago. You can also check out your college's alumni network. LinkedIn has a pretty robust college directory. So maybe there's somebody that you were friends with back in the day that you'd like to reconnect with. You can also lean on existing networks of friends and acquaintances who might be able to connect you with somebody that would be of benefit. Obviously, the pandemic has removed those chance meetings in corridors or cafeterias. They're just not happening. However, you can still turn casual connections with neighbors or work colleagues that you're seeing on Zoom all the time these days. You can turn those connections into friends. You can also reach out to new people through shared connections. I'll tell you guys, this week has been a banner week for me in connecting with new people. I was on Zoom calls this week at least half a dozen times with new people who I was connected to through that connector person. And if you are a connector, you might know some people that you want to put together. It's really fun right now. There's a lot of friendship matchmaking going on. I've been the recipient of it. I have also reached out to others to make connections between two people. It's fun and it feels really good. And you never know where those relationships are going to lead. And that's really the point of it. We can all be useful to each other and saying, hey, I know somebody that you need to connect with. Would it be all right if I did that over email? And it's a neat habit to get into. Another tip that she brought up, which I thought was interesting, is she says, avoid communicating over the same airways you use for work. So if you are on Zoom all day or another video chat platform, and that's what you do for your job, she says, don't video chat with your friends. Instead, you can write letters, send postcards, start a puzzle club like my friend Jill recently did. Puzzle club is where you share puzzles with a group of friends. Once you've finished one and put it away, you find someone who has also finished one and then arrange for a swap. Socially distanced, of course, until otherwise noted. I liked that idea. I think that's a neat thing to do. Keep this in mind too. Many people feel lonely these days. Many people feel overwhelmed and many people feel scared. These feelings can make people more vulnerable and perhaps less willing to open up to new friendships because they're like, where is this going to go? They start doubting it, even though that's what they want to do, even though that's what they need. So the article concludes with this recommendation when seeking new friendships. And I really like this. She says, being intentional, being available, being reliable, and being excited are all things that work in your favor. I really like the intentional part. Being intentional in everything we do is so important, especially when making new friends or resurrecting a friendship from another time in your life. So, team, that's it for today. Thanks so much for listening. And remember, it is always a great day to get out there and play your position. This is Mary Lou Kaiser. We will see you next time.
Got a great key offensive strategy you like to share? Write to us at coach@pyppodcast.com or on Twitter, use #PYP and let us know how you're running your ball into the end zone for those game-winning touchdowns.